All right, today we are going to be working on the push. So the push is a universal movement, but if you think about it, there are multiple ways that we can push things. We can push them overhead, we can push down, and we can push something away from us. It is this away from us that is the horizontal push. The movement we're going to use to train our horizontal push is the push-up. That is just the most easy, most readily accessible of the horizontal push movements for people who are working out at home. So let's get started. Okay, so we're gonna talk about step one of training the horizontal push or training the push-up. So it's gonna be up against a wall, find a good wall space, and you're gonna step out just a little bit from the wall. I'd say I'm probably about 2 feet away from the wall. Again, kind of like with the hinge drill, it's gonna depend on your proportions. But what you want to do is you want to start bending the elbows and lowering your body towards the wall. The goal is to get your nose to the wall and then push back out. The other flaw I see, or yeah, you know what, we'll just call them what they are. They're flaws. Not a flaw with you, but a movement flaw, right? Which is easy to train and doesn't mean anything about you. So please remember that, because I know sometimes we write a narrative about any little thing that's wrong with us. There's nothing wrong. You're learning and you're developing strength. So the other thing I see is when people let their backs sag. See how there's a curve in my back there? That's dangerous for the lower back. So what we want to do is we want to pull the pelvis up towards the ribs, okay? And you're going to feel a flexion in your belly, okay? We want to keep that flexion, we want to keep that tension, we want to keep those hips pulled up towards the ribs as we bring those elbows down to the floor and touch the wall with our nose and then come back up. If you need to reset that core in between reps, please do. It's important and it will become automatic as time goes on. Okay, now we're going to talk about progressing the push-up and how we do it in an in-home setting. So you will never ever see me train knee push-ups because they are useless. They will never get you to a push-up. There are too many things mechanically wrong. There are too many things not being trained. So what do I use instead? I use incline push-ups. Now this is a pull-up bar, but it's a kind of fancy one. It extends on both ends and it allows me to change the height at which I keep the bar. Okay, now when we're training the push-up, the lower the bar is to the ground, the more advanced the movement is, right? With the end goal being to be able to do a push-up just on the floor. So I have my bar at a height that is appropriate for me, and I am going to do the same thing I did against the wall, only this time I'm trying to get my chest to the bar and then push back up. Again, we want to avoid the flared elbows and we want to avoid that soft center with the back curving, okay? So we want to keep a nice flexed core and push out of it. All right, now we're going to move the pull-up bar down so I can show you what it's like to progress the push-up. So here we go. Okay, so as you can see, I have now decreased the height of the bar. I've moved it down. This is what you will do gradually. It won't necessarily be big steps like that, but you will do very gradually as you increase strength in your horizontal push. You'll just gradually move this down. So what this looks like is I'm now more parallel to the floor. Okay, so the angle is significantly different, but the mechanics are the same. So my angle is different. I'm definitely more parallel to the floor. I definitely feel some more weight on my arms and in my shoulders, okay? But my body's ready for that, so it's fine. I'm gonna make sure that my elbows are coming down towards my rib cage. I'm gonna touch my chest to the bar and then I am going to push back up. So same rules, no flared elbows and no sagging core, okay? Nice and tight, flex that core, pull that pelvis up, bring those elbows back, full range of motion, touch the chest to the bar. You should not be lowering the bar if you haven't gotten your chest to the bar yet. We work in full range of motion. So one of the questions that I get asked is, well, what do I do if I can't get my chest to the bar, but I can push out? Well, it's not a push out. So you're gonna work on getting your chest to the bar, okay? And that might look kind of like what we talked about with squats and lunges. Maybe you lower yourself, even if you're up against the wall, maybe you can't get your nose to the wall, right? You go as far as you can, and I want you to hold it there in your end range of motion, whatever place that may be, and then push out of it. Your strength, your flexibility, and your mobility will increase the more time you spend in that end range of motion. And before you know it, boom, you're going to be touching your nose to the wall, or you're going to be touching your chest to the bar. So it does require patience. Remember, if you're working with me, you've probably neglected your body for the last 30 years, right? Or at least since you've had kids, or you've never really done strength training before. Like, it took you 30, 40 years to get into the condition you're in. It's not going to progress overnight. So this does require a lot of patience. And again, when I say things like that, it's because we need to be honest about what has happened and where we are. It's not an invitation to have a negative narrative about your past or about your current fitness level. It's an invitation to be fully immersed in your reality and then focus on what you can do now to improve the future and improve your longevity, your strength, your muscle mass, your health span.